Hello, and welcome back to another one of our weekly webinars. Glad that you are able to join us today. Today, we're going to be discussing the Kinderlime settings, so how to make sure that your school is set up with the information your parents will need for their end-of-year statements, and a few of the different configurations that you can do in your Kinderlime profile. If you We'll start with that, and so just kind of explain the system, and then we'll end with the Q&A session. So if you guys do have any questions, what you should see on your screen is this little box. If you click it open with the webinar, that will open the chat box where you can send a question over. I'll be keeping an eye out for those, and just if I can fit it in, the answer when I'm discussing each particular topic, I'll add your questions there. If not, we will get to them all at the end. So again, just click the orange arrow to pop it out, and then just send over your question here in this box. Let's go ahead and get started. So if you go into your Kinderlime account, you'll see at the very bottom of the screen, there is the school settings section. When you click that open, it'll show a drop-down menu. So where you'd want to go, so to make sure your parents have the information they need on their statements, is the school profile. When the school profile is open, this is where you can upload your logo. So that'll show to the parents on on the statements at the very top, and anywhere else that information is sent out. This is how you can make sure it's more personalized to your school. So it's just a matter of clicking upload photo and choosing a photo from your files. To edit the rest of the profile, it's a matter of clicking edit profile. If your enrollment might change, updating that number, your school phone number. Here's where you put in the EIN tax ID. And again, that shows up on the statements. And I'll show you in a moment too, where you can pull the statements for your parents, but also more importantly, where the parents can pull it for themselves. So we'll dive into the parent profile. You can add into your website URL, your site director. So if that ever changes, make sure to update that in the school profile. Your address line and city, state, country, and zip code. And again, this information will show on the EIN tax ID, or the tax statement as well. Once you have everything filled out and you've double checked the information is accurate, make sure to hit Save Changes. So that way your profile will update with the information that you include. So in this case, I'm just going to put random numbers in. And an address. Okay. And just hit save. So that will update everything there. So now I can see I have my tax ID there and all my information's up to date. So on your side of things, if you ever want to check where the statements are and make sure all that information is populating, you just come here to billing and click on any of your students' names. In this case, I'm going to open Cheryl's profile and her family's transaction history. In the upper right side of the screen, that's where you'll see statement. And this is, again, if you ever want to pull the statements for your families, you can. And it would just be coming here and hitting statement and then selecting which dates you are pulling for. So you can pull it for up to 12 months. Once I hit view, it will open it as a PDF in a new tab. And I'll be able to see every payment that the family has made and all invoices that have been sent out. In this case, I only did a month, December to January. So that way I'm just looking at the month of December as a whole. So as mentioned before, where we updated the profile with the logo, that's going to be at the top of the page, and all information they need, like the address and the federal tax ID will be showing there too. So when they need to submit their statement, they'll have everything they need just right on one page. Let's take a quick peek at the parent's perspective and kind of review how that's going to look for when they need to pull it on their own. So that way they can be self-sufficient and have the ability to get this information without having to always go to you. They can pull it at any time. They would just come here onto the profile, hit payments, and in the upper right corner again, they would hit statement. And just like you would do in your profile, they would also select which dates they're pulling for and then just hit view. And just like before, it'll open in a new tab as a PDF, and they're able to print this out. And they're able to print this out for their records and kind of, again, have all the information that they need. What I would mention, just as a tip, going back to kind of the billing portion, to also prepare for those to prepare for those tax statements, is making sure that your parents, their profiles are completely up to date. So all transactions have been logged, payments have been logged. One thing we've seen is sometimes just payments are logged in the account without invoices. So their account's not balanced, or it's showing a negative credit in there because there's no invoice to show where the money's going to. So make sure that your parents' balance is where it should be, either at zero or if they have an owed amount, but it's accurately reflecting. So when they pull those statements, it has all the accurate information. If you notice that a payment that they've made, maybe they logged in the past, isn't showing on their profile, if the payments aren't showing on their profile, or maybe an invoice is missing, really easy. So same thing as clicking into the profile, you'll see new transaction at the top of the page. So here you can actually create invoices. You can also receive payments. So again, if it's not balanced, you need to add a few invoices. Do a manual invoice by just clicking create invoice, what date it was for, maybe it was in the past, or what the dates of service were for. Add your item description and then the amount that it should have been invoiced. Once you hit continue, you'll see both families, because this is just for this particular family, both their kids showing. So maybe I'm just logging invoice for Cheryl, and then I'll log a separate one for Sarah. Once I hit continue, it'll give you again the options to save or save and send. In this case, I'm just logging payments for records. I just wanted to upload to the profile. I don't want to send them a notification. So I'm just going to hit save instead of save and send. So no notifications are sent, no alarm with the parents. And then on the other side, now they have a negative balance. Again, I want to balance it out. So I'm going to hit new transaction and receive payment. So that way, if they did make that payment, and I'm just backdating the information, we'll say payment from December 2nd and hit submit. So now their account is reset back to zero. So that's one way just to make sure not just that the statements are prepared with the information they need, but that it's also accurately showing the right billing information as well from their profiles. Let's see. Let's also talk about, I'm going to hop back to the settings because there's quite a few settings in there. If you haven't taken a peek before, let's review it right now. So within the school settings, you'll see, again, where we were before was the school profile, which is all your information. But in the settings, this is just extra that you can do within the account. So if there's ever a time maybe for your program and your licensing, signatures aren't needed. This is where you can come in as an admin into the profile and either turn that off. So moving forward, it'll just request the PIN or the parent selecting their children on the kiosk. And you can always turn it back on maybe if things change. The next one below that is the password protect sign in and out on mobile. That's so if you do on the kiosk, go ahead and bring that up real quick so I can show what I am talking about. On the kiosk, if you go to parent mode, for example, you'll see a little lock at the top of the screen. So if you have password protect turned on in your settings, if you click this lock, it'll mean whoever's logged into the device has to put their password in order for a parent or a staff member, well, not a parent, but a staff member to be able to navigate throughout the app. Again, that's just a good beneficial turn on the password protect. So that way, if you do turn on the lock, you know that it is just on the sign-in screen. It's not giving the parents an option to turn off the lock on their own and navigate elsewhere. They're just kind of stuck to this particular sign-in out screen. A little bit further down is the parent kiosk form. If you haven't used this before, it's a really great feature and another way to communicate with your parents. I would say this could also be beneficial with the tax statements. So if you want to schedule it, maybe that week, you want to enable it just to let them know, oh, if you need to find your statement, or you can ask them, have you pulled your statement already, and let them put an answer in, or do you know how to pull your statement? If not, come talk to us. So this is, again, a way to send communications to parents. So you can ask any question here, whether that's about the statements, whether that's about, did they bring a lunch? Did they bring the diapers that they should have? Or, when was the last time your child had a diaper change, for example? And that way they can add their answer into there and send it over. Once you put it in, it's just a matter of when do you want the display to be signed in, or to be the question to be displayed. So if you want it to be when they sign in, or maybe when they sign out, and you can choose what time. So maybe in this case, I'm gonna say, why are you picking up your child early? So let's say if I wanted to be signed out and I want it to be between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. Maybe they drop their child out and they're leaving before our usual pickup time. That way they can give an answer, doctor's appointment, and that's saved on the record. So that's one way you can, again, communicate with them and save that information. When the parents do fill out the form, you'll actually see their responses in the student attendance. It will show, I'm going to create a dummy attendance real quick. On the screen, there'll actually be a note here. It'll be like a little yellow sticky note. So you know that the parents did give an answer on the kiosk form, and you can check that out there. And it'll also pull to the attendance. The attendance reports as well will have their kiosk responses. Moving down a little bit further, the billing setup is, if you want to set up billing for your account, if you are taking online payments. But let's go over the notify parents when staff take attendance. So if you have this turned on, it means that anytime the child is maybe transferred during the day, if you have multiple rooms in your program, or maybe the staff members are the ones signing the kids in and out. If you have this enabled, the parents will see a notification if they have that enabled on their devices, as well as when they log into the child's profile. When they log into the child's profile, they will also see their attendance. So in this case, like with Brandy, I have notify parents when staff take attendance turned on. So the parents will see all their sign in and outs on the profile. You should know though, if you do turn this setting off, so maybe I don't want the parents to be notified when staff take attendance, and then we won't receive push notifications when a staff member takes attendance, as well as when a staff member maybe transfers them in during the day, signs them out, or signs them in. If you don't have that setting enabled, it won't appear on the activity feed for the child. You can still, as an admin or anyone who has permissions to view the reports, still pull the reports, and that information will show there. It just will not show in the app on the child's feed. And let's go a little bit further down. Here is the allow parents to edit family records. So if, again, you have this turned on, it just means within the parent profile, they're able to add their own authorized pickups. They can change the child's medical information, like what meds they need or allergies, update the address or the phone number. If there's ever time you would prefer, maybe the parents come to you to change that information or make sure they're communicating with you who the authorized pickups are, you could always turn the setting off, so that way the parents can't change that information, they can't add authorized pickups. That all has to flow through you. So it would change your workflow on how the parent information, parent profiles are updated. And then the last step is setting we have is display student name as last first. So currently I don't have that enabled. So when I go to my school profile, I see first name last. So in this case, Bella Smith. However, if I was to enable this setting, if I come here to my school, it will now show, it will now organize everyone by their last name and highlight it that way. So it kind of depends on how you prefer viewing the information and what's easier for your staff. If you prefer seeing their last names first and kind of organizing them that way, you totally can in the school settings by enabling that feature. And again, anything that's blue, that's when you know it's turned on. If it's grayed out, it's off. Let's see. I also want to touch on um, a few of the settings we also have on the app because there are a few different ones. So if you're an admin or if you are an admin who has given maybe one of your staff members permissions to access the school settings, that's where you'll see here click the three dots to open the menu and then click My School. Once you're in there, same thing as on the website, you'll see the school profile. So again, where you can update your information. So your country, what city, and state. You can't update the EIN tax ID on the app. That is only on the website, as well as updating the logo is on the website. The other part is the school settings. So if I were just to click in here, the features on the app, same thing as before, you can, or just like on the website, you can turn on parent signatures or turn them off. Again, if it's needed by your licensing or if it's not, this gives you access in the app and website to turn it off. Or if you want to turn on the password protect signing out, you'll see that at the top of the screen. There are a few settings that are device specific. So when it says device settings, it means if you turn this on here in the app, it won't affect all devices in your program. It will only affect the device you're changing the setting on. So for example, if I want to turn on the option to save media to gallery, this is just turning it on for this particular device. So if I take any photos or videos, it will save it to this device, but it won't affect other devices in the center and force that option on for them. It's a single device turn on. You also have the option in the app, you usually just show the students' first names just to kind of keep the bulk down. But however, if you want to see their full name displayed everywhere, you could always turn this setting on. So let me show you without it on real quick. So if I was to go back to my main page, let's say I was to look at the parent kiosk. I'll bring that up because it's a little bit easier. So as I see here with all the bubbles, and this is also like if you're adding activities or logging photos, you'll notice the bubbles that pop up, it only shows the student's first name. But maybe like me, I'm a 90s kid, so I always saw a lot of Brittany's growing up. So maybe you have 4 Brittany's in class, but you wanna make sure it's very clear which Brittany it is. So if I was to go back to my school settings and turn on display student full name, when I go back to, again, I'm just going to use the parent kiosk as an example, I'll now see that it'll show the first and last names for everyone. And again, not just on the parent kiosk, that setting will affect the activities as well. So you can see any child who has their first and last name entered in, you'll see that. And the last settings and school settings, this is a new one. We released this within the last couple of weeks, is the show allergy icon. So previously in the app, the allergy icon would only show when you're logging a meal. However, if you turn the setting on, show allergy icon, it will, wherever the student is located, even if you're not looking at just meals, if you're logging photos or if you're looking at attendance, it will have the allergy icon on their student photo, no matter where you are in the app. And that way, I think it's really important, especially maybe you're not logging email at the moment, but you need to know which students have allergies. If you turn that setting on, you will see, like on the main screen, Kevin is the child in my program who has an allergy. I can see just from a quick glance, he has a restriction. And if I want to know exactly what that is, I can always click his name from the main page, hit edit profile to bring up his profile information. And if I scroll down, I can see allergies, and he has a peanut allergy. So again, any student that has in their account profile an allergy listed, that's where that icon will pop up. And that way, again, first glance, you know exactly who has an allergy. Okay. The last thing I'll mention, so we went over how you can pull the statements, how your parents can pull the statements. However, if there's ever any questions about it from your parents, here's how you can direct them to get that information. If you want to give them like a worksheet or tutorial to explain it, you can click here. This little question mark icon brings up our help page. And this again has so many articles and tutorials on how to use almost every feature in Kinderlime. But if you scroll down, scroll, we have a section just for the parents, so parent help articles. So if I click that open, I'm going to be able to see, how to sign up, how to edit family information if that setting is enabled. And then if I scroll down, this is about billing. So how they can view their current balance, how to make a payment on the app and website, change or move their payment method, and what we talked about earlier is the statements. So how to pull and print their year-end tax statements. Um, this is a great article that you can provide to your parents. You can also just search statements or taxes in the search icon or in the search bar, and it'll pull this information up. But if you provide to your parents, it kind of, again, just enables them that independence to pull this information on their own without having to go to you to pull it. As long as their payments and their invoices are being logged, they should have an accurate reflection of what they've paid or what they owe for these statements. And again, they just select their dates and view. So easiest way to find that is clicking the question mark, and on the help page, just again, you can just put in taxes as easiest, and you'll see it at the top of the list. There's another article just again from the school point of view. So how you can pull it for your parents, that's here as well. Let's open it up to questions. If anyone has any. Again, if you can't find it, you'll see it here, just the arrow, pop it out, and then add your question here. I'll give it a few minutes just in case any do filter, and even if it's not just about the settings or the tax statements, feel free to ask away, because I think this is a great time while I'm sharing my screen with you. If there's something you want to do a deeper dive in, feel free to send that over. So one of the questions we have is, the year-to-date statement is PDF. Yes. So when you pull these statements, let me use Cheryl's profile as an example. Again, adjust the dates that you need to view, hit view, and it opens in a new tab as a PDF. So once that opens up, you'll be able to see the option to download it. Maybe you want to save it on the computer or print it off. This might look different depending on what browser you're using. I'm using Chrome right now. So this is in Chrome how it looks to print or to download. So if maybe another browser, you could always right click and print, or Control P and have access to that. But it is PDF form. The other thing I meant to mention earlier too is maybe if you don't want to view or print it for the parents, you can just email it directly to them by clicking email parents. And again, it will also send it in PDF form directly to the parents' email. So um, save paper, provide it directly to them, and just hit email if necessary. Or if you want to sit down and view it with them together, that's where that view icon will be really helpful. Let's see. Again, if you guys want to send over some questions, please feel free to. So far, not many, but what I'll do is open up the parent view so we can just kind of explore that together a little bit more. So on the parent's perspective, this is a parent account. So I'm in my parent Penelope's profile. If you have any parents who have multiple children, they can come here on the website and click their child's name. It opens a drop-down menu so they can switch between the different profiles and see what each child has been up to for the day. If your parents ever have questions on the website, for example, if they want to know what their current balance is, they'll see it on the main screen. They'll see their sign-in pins, or if they need to add another child, they'll see the registration button there. If I come here to payments, again, this is where they pull their statements, as well as gives them the ability to view all their different payments and invoices. So any invoice that you've sent out, they can actually come here and take a full view at it without just pulling the statement, just quick glance at the website. Maybe they want to view the invoice a little bit further. If they come here to the right side of the page, they can hit view and that will open up the invoice that was sent out. So in this case, this was for Cheryl, test at $100. And then if they need to print the invoices or anything like that, they can do so and hit close. I don't have online payment set up, so I can't show you the full process of making a payment, but it's really simple. They just hit make payment, make sure the amount that they see there looks good to go, and then just confirm it and send it through. And finally, the family list. So again, if you have the setting turned off where the parents can't edit it, they won't be able to make any changes. It's turned on for mine, so I would be able to edit my email, phone number, and then add pickups or edit any of the cares that are on there. So that would give them the ability to do that. Okay. On my side, that is pretty much everything. Just want to give a brief overview. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to communicate with us. We have our chat box here. It goes to any of the team members. So if you want to start a new conversation, you can. If you have screenshots, that's always helpful depending on what your issue is. If you want to send a funny gift to get our attention, feel free to. But this is how you can communicate with us and ask for help. And then you can also, again, where I showed earlier, the question mark icon. Any feature that you're curious about, you will find those here. Tutorials, videos. I will be, this session today was recorded, so if you do want to review it one more time, feel free to use that chat box and just say, hey, Britt, or hey, Brittany, I want to have access to the recording, and I'll definitely send that over. But thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys are enjoying this as we go into the holiday season. If you have questions, please let us know. But enjoy your Friday and your weekend as well. Thank you.